Wow. It is certainly the most beautiful award I've ever seen, let alone gotten. Anybody knows me, I'm a little bit overwhelmed and embarrassed. Having my friend and kumbaro speak about me, it's a little overwhelming. I want to just start by stealing a line. I know Urania Sumis is here today. Right? I want to steal a line from her, so I want to give you credit from the other night, which is that it's an incredible honor to be amongst and to be honored by your people. You're all my people. I have people here that I've known since I was 4 years old. That I went to Greek Sunday school at Transfiguration of Christ in Cremona. James Farkas. I have people here, George Anagnos, one of my best friends in life, who we went to college and had incredible life adventures with. I have my kumbaro, Steve and Francine Kyrgiakos. I have my good friends George and Nicole Liakias here. So many people, can't even mention them. It's incredible to be amongst and honored by my people. And the reason why it is especially so special is because I think that our people are so special. I think the Greeks have given so much to the world, and the only reason I'm up here and have done anything in my life is simply because I'm Greek. And I'm a product of what Greek civilization and Greeks do. And I said this before, but I want to say it today again. It starts with our God and our religion. I believe that we have an incredibly special religion and incredible leadership. I also had an opportunity, especially in the last few weeks, but to know our grace and our eminence, and recently to even meet and hear from our patriarch. And I think unlike a lot of religious leaders, as I've said before, they've made the point that there is no schism between God and science. That it's God who gave us science to use to help us. And I think that's one of the reasons, in fact, why Greeks are such leaders in the scientific community, because it's part of who we are. We, as Greeks, invented science, and we use it, and we've been using it for thousands and thousands of years. As my father used to say, when other people were in caves, we knew the exact circumference of the earth. And so, it shouldn't be a surprise that even though there's only about 10 million Greeks on this planet, that's about 1 in 1,000 people, they are the people who are leaders in science and medicine, who in fact help our world fight and come back from this horrific pandemic. And throughout our industry, many of you heard and saw Albert Bourla, who also won the Athenagoras Award a couple of weeks ago, who heads Pfizer. The heads of more biotech and biopharmaceutical companies are of Greek descent than I believe any other descent. For people who are only 1 in 1,000 of all the people on this planet, that's incredibly achievement. And I don't believe it's a coincidence. And I also think that this is why we have such hope for the future. Steve mentioned in my case, I think we as Greeks, we devote everything that we have to our next generation. I know that so many of our parents did it for us so that we could survive and thrive. My parents came to America from war. They had never finished their own high school education. But for me, they made, for me and my sister, the most important thing that they could do was make sure that we had the best of education so that we could achieve. And I think that's so why so many Greeks do. We draw upon our history, and we have our culture, and we have our parents who devote their entire lives so that their children could just be better and do more. And at my own company at Regeneron, the examples of Greek past, current, and future leaders, I think is just incredible. Many of you probably know that the person who really gave birth to the modern biopharmaceutical industry when he was at Merck, Roy Vagelos, is now the chairman of Regeneron and has been for the last 25 years. The current leadership includes people like me who are Greek, and I always mention my longtime partner, Len Schleifer, who's Jewish, who share a lot of, I think, similar values and cultures as the Greeks. But he says after working with me and Roy for 30 years, he's at least half Greek. But then the next generation. I shared my Athenagoras Award with Christos Kyratsous, who's an incredible example of the next generation of great young Greek scientists. He literally, with his own hands and leadership, developed the Regeneron Cove monoclonal antibody treatment, as well as the Ebola treatment, actually. And he's a major, incredible example of the future. But at Regeneron, we have several other incredible Greek leaders. Some of you, I'm sure, I know him, Aris Baris, an incredible current and future leader, Dimitris Skokos, Nikos Kourtos, and the names go on and on. Like I said, I don't believe it's a coincidence that there's so much in our history, in our culture, and in our past that drives us to contribute to the world going forward. And so I want to end with a line that I've told you guys about before, but I think relates exactly to this concept about why Greeks, they learn, they understand so much about history and so much that they owe to history. I've told people that the most significant moment of my life, which I will never forget, as you heard, I'm a Castorian, which means I'm a true Macedonian, Greek Macedonian. And when I was a boy, thinking of my father, I'm sorry. When I was a boy, we would hike the hills around Kastoria. And my father said to me one time something that I will never forget, which was, never forget all the blood that was shed on these mountains just so you could be alive today. And that you owe your life to repay that debt by doing something that they would be proud of. And I think that sort of belief and debt that we are a continuation of thousands of years of greatness is what helps drive us Greeks and us modern Greeks and the next generation of Greeks to greatness. But we can't forget the debt and what we owe to those who came before us. And so I think St. Michael's is a great example of that. It's an example of the recognition that there are people who will need and need a place to be taken care of, and to be honored, and to be respected. And so I think we all are here tonight to recognize that and to honor that, and to support the great effort at St. Michael's, which will honor and respect and take care of those who came before us. So I thank you all so much. I love you all. You are my people. And to the young folks here, and if they're not here, I'm sure you'll go home and tell all your kids. To the next generation, there's greatness in your genes, there's greatness in your history, and you owe that greatness by paying it back, by doing something that all the ancients will be so proud of, and I'm sure the next generation will, and take it to the next level. I love you all. Thank you.
And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce His Eminence, Archbishop of Villa Falls.